Hey guys, Nishquick here. Today is April 5th. That is the time I'm recording the audio for this video. Editing is going to be very light on this, but we are 1 week away from The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I can't believe we are here. I cannot believe it. I just want to gush and talk about the 4-year lead up to this game, as well as the legacy of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and what it really means to me over the course of the past 6 years. So if you enjoy Zelda, if you're excited for next week, if you're excited like I am, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's go. Tears of the Kingdom is almost here, guys. Yes! I'm so excited. So anyways, flashback to 4 years ago, June 2019. I didn't have a YouTube channel. I was still in college. I think I was my 3rd year in college. I was back home for the summer, and I had been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild recently. I was playing it so much and enjoying it so much, and I was like, the next Zelda game, won't happen for another very long time, won't be announced till like 2023, whatever, right? I thought we were going to be playing Breath of the Wild for another 10 years. And then the June Direct happened, and I still actually have my live reaction to this, because I was watching it on my laptop on my bed, and I recorded my reaction on Snapchat. So you're gonna take a look at this. Nishquick 4 years back reacting to the first ever look at the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Is this a Breath of the Wild sequel? No! So yeah, I literally couldn't believe it. A sequel to the biggest, grandest, most epic Zelda game was in development. Wow. But little did I know that next year things wouldn't pan out the way that a lot of us thought it would when it comes to gaming and game releases and just life in general. Flash forward a year later, we couldn't go out anywhere, had to wear masks and social distance, and COVID-19, the pandemic, was rampant. And the thing is, this put a real damper on a lot of Nintendo releases. 2020 was not a good year for a lot of people when it came to gaming, and I mean, I had a good time. I was playing Xenoblade, and that was the year I got into the Xenoblade series, but I was still wondering, hey, what's up with this Zelda game? What's up with Breath of the Wild 2? That's what everyone called it back then. And it was such a mystery, and many of us thought that this game would release very soon, because reusing assets, reusing Hyrule, we thought that it would just be, I thought that it would just be a very simple kind of sequel. We didn't hear news until 2 years later. We saw the sky, we saw all the Zonai teases, and even then, it wasn't very much, and we realized that we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for this game. And then, of course, the next year, it was delayed into the following year. And even then, in 2022, we didn't see a lot of news for this game. We were expecting a blowout in the summer. I was very disappointed to not see that, and that's when my hype kind of dwindled for this game. And I was a little unsure about what's happening. Is everything okay? Is it going to be good? And then, of course, near the end of the year, we got the announcement, Tears of the Kingdom is the name. It's releasing on May 12th. And from then on, the rest is history. We know what's been happening with this game. We saw Fuse, Ultra Hand, all that. So what I mean to say is this hype cycle was long, mysterious, and confusing, but we're at the end of it. 4 years of waiting since the game was announced. 6 years, more than 6 years, since Breath of the Wild was released. And we're here. We're finally at the end of this long cycle, and I'm getting a little nostalgic and sentimental about this because I don't know if I'm ready to let Breath of the Wild go. I haven't really been playing the game as much as other people have lately, but it's still a little bittersweet to leave Breath of the Wild behind and move on to Tears of the Kingdom. I am very ready to move on to Tears of the Kingdom, but when Breath of the Wild launched, I have to say, I was a skeptic. I was really a skeptic during the hype cycle for this game. I didn't think an open world Zelda would work. And I was very nervous because I hadn't played open world games. I hadn't played Skyrim, Witcher, Fallout. I didn't play any of those games. And I was realizing a lot of what Zelda is doing is taking inspiration from those games, and that's the only thing I was witnessing. I was seeing this open world, this non-linear story, and I was very nervous. How is Zelda gonna tackle this? And I wasn't a firm believer in this new era of Zelda until I picked up the game and played it myself. And I played it, and I played it, and I played it for about 300 hours total. That is nothing compared to the likes of other people, but 300 hours. I put it into Breath of the Wild. And that's, I don't do that for many games, honestly. And that is between 3 different platforms, with the Wii U, the Switch, and we'll say I played a little bit on Cemu as well. To me, Breath of the Wild meant so much. It was a game that got me through some tough times in my life, especially during my college years. It was a game that put me at peace a lot of the times, just exploring Hyrule and doing a lot of things, but I think the biggest thing I took away from this game is that the world felt so alive. So alive, and I've never felt that with a video game in my life. To this day, I've played many other open world games. I played Horizon, I've played Ghost of Tsushima, and I've played other games like Spider-Man, God of War, even the Xenoblade games. A lot of these games are good games on their own, but to this day, I have yet to see a game that has an open world that feels as alive as Breath of the Wild. And I say that because Breath of the Wild has a very interactive world. Interactive in the sense that you can go chop down a tree, get the wood from it. You can chop down a tree and you'll have the big tree trunk. You can roll that tree trunk wherever you want, and you can even use that tree trunk as sort of like a bridge to get across like a gap or a chasm. You can pick fruits off from trees and from bushes and plants. You can cook these ingredients to make different kinds of foods. When you're in a cold environment and you're not wearing the right clothes, Link is going to shiver. As Matthew says in Future Redeemed,
"Man, I'm freezing my balls off."
That's how Link is feeling, and his hearts are depleting. He is feeling very cold, and you have to put on some warm clothes for him, or you can even just carry around a flame sword. How realistic is that? That's so cool. Likewise, if you're in the desert and you're wearing your warm doublet, he's gonna be parched. He's going to be very, very exhausted in the sun. You can just take off all your clothes, chill in your boxers, and you'll be fine. I have never, ever seen this level of immersion in a video game. Sure, games can look good with 4K 60 FPS, but does a game allow you to take out your arrows, take out your fire arrows, light it on the ground, make a fire, which allows you to create an updraft, which allows you to fly higher and allow you to like snipe enemies from up? That's so cool. Does a game allow you, does any other game really allow you to take out your shock arrows and find enemies in the water and shoot your shock arrows in the water and shocks every enemy that is swimming in the water? How cool is that? A lot of people have come out and said that Nintendo games aren't realistic. They're not dark, they don't have that sense of realism that games like The Last of Us and Horizon and God of War have, because of their anime art style, and their graphics aren't on par with other games on the PlayStation 5 and PC and all that stuff. But again, I say, a game doesn't need to look realistic and have characters that look like real people to be realistic. This world of Hyrule is more realistic and more immersive than any other open world that I've ever explored, and that is because of the genius game engine that they have developed for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and the amazing physics and chemistry system that is at play with this game. And you see that with all these cool shrine puzzles that use the Sheikah Slate. You see that with these small little interactions you can have in the open world, and you see that with videos like this GameSpot series that says 30 things that you didn't know about Breath of the Wild, and then a week later it is 30 more things you didn't know about Breath of the Wild, and then a month later it's 30 more things you still didn't know about Breath of the Wild. I remember that series starting about 2 or 3 years back. It's still going on today. 6 years later, people are still figuring things out to do in this game. And sure, standard games that have a beginning and an end and are more linear and more straightforward are fine, but when it comes to the magic of an open world game, Breath of the Wild has it in spades, and it is doing things that no other video game and no other developer has done. And it is 6 years since then, and the sequel is coming out and is doing crazier things. We see Fuse, we see Ultra Hand, we see Recall, and we see Ascend. This is insane, and I love it. I am really happy with how Zelda is going, because especially with Tears of the Kingdom, it is not really alienating a lot of the original Zelda fans. It is bringing back some of those Zelda fans, because we can see a more established and more engaging narrative. We can see elements from past Zelda games. Maybe it is dungeons or something along the lines of that. And a lot of that is very exciting to me, because as a fan of Zelda for more than 10 years now, when my life was changed when I played Ocarina of Time, I really have to hand it to the Zelda team for revitalizing the series and building upon the genius of Breath of the Wild and potentially probably making the greatest Legend of Zelda game of all time. So let me know what you guys think. How did you guys feel about the hype cycle for Tears of the Kingdom? How did you guys feel about Breath of the Wild? Do you enjoy the game? I know there's a lot of people who don't enjoy the game, so let me know in the comments below like what you think about Breath of the Wild and what your experiences have been with the game for the past 6 years. I really want to know, and I'm feeling very sentimental about moving on from this game and heading into Tears of the Kingdom. So we are 7 days away. It is right here. It is so close, and I'm so excited. So yeah, look forward to more Tears of the Kingdom content in the coming months and weeks and days, and yeah, we're here. This is Nishquick signing off. Have a great day and get excited for Tears of the Kingdom. The wait is almost over. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.